So it's kind of like the Jupiter cube in that we solved it the same way, just kind of with a twist. So I'm just going to go through that, and maybe in watching it you might see some, it might help you through if you run into any difficulties. But instead of starting off with the bottom side here, I'm going to run into trouble because I'm going to end up moving this in a way that that's going to be, well, it's going to ruin everything that we did. Now, as you recall, there, I just did that to complete this nice design. Kind of pretty, isn't it? Pretty cool. It's the only way to keep everything straight. But as you recall, what I did with the Jupiter cube is I didn't use this as the bottom side. Instead, I used one of these as the bottom side. Because upon doing that, what I can do is make sure that I can be careful about not making certain moves. So I'm going to actually use the green as the bottom side. It really could be any one of these. Just by convention, I've been using green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in. I'm going to solve this with a cross. And as such, I'm going to be very careful to not do any of these kind of motions, only up and down. So here's this over here. So this is going to find a home on this side over here. So notice this is here, and I'm going to turn this down over here. Let's find the green and white first. Dark green and white, which is over here. So what I'm going to do is I have to move this to here. How am I going to do that without doing this motion? Well, what I could do is just move it down like this. Move this down here, 1, 2, move this up. Alright, that was really just a question of positioning. Quote, intuitive. Now I hope I'm not throwing people off when I say intuitive, lest you think that I'm skipping steps. And if there's anything that I'm doing which is unclear, please let me know. Intuitive just means positioning. And by the mere fact that you're watching this, a lot of these intuitive steps are things that I assume you've already picked up from previous, earlier cubes, such as Rubik's cubes. So this is all just a question of positioning. This has to be put into here. So what if I just go like this, 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 and this? Now, is that too complicated? I hope not. I assume not. Anyway, so I've got my star, so to speak, or my cross, as it were. Now I'm going to put these in. So I'm going to keep continuing with Megaminx style. I just have to remember what motions not to do. So this is purple and white, so that's going to go over here. So I'm just going to move this in like so. Turn, 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 turn. Might as well move that in. Now again, bear in mind, I'm not getting my cross from here, I'm getting it from here. We're going to deal with that later. Any other dark greens? Here's a dark green, white, and red. So we're hitting all of our whites, which is good. Okay, now I notice that I did a motion I wasn't supposed to do. Look at that. See, look what I did here. Now don't panic, don't panic. I think I can move this back, but I think I gotta move this in. Boom, boom, turn this here. Ah, see, wasn't careful. Don't panic though. Don't panic. All right. All right, so maybe I panicked a little bit. All right, we'll move this here. Move this back here. No problems. I move this over here. To those watching this, you probably yelled, stop! Like this. All right. So I'm just moving that out of the way safely. And then this comes over here. Turn, turn, turn. Paying very close attention there. Okay, another dark green. Here's a dark green over here. Be careful not to move that again, making the same doggone mistake. All right. And we're good there. And the other dark green. Aha! I'll just keep it here and move it from here. And that's going to be in between these guys, beige and blue. Okay. And where's the other one? Right over here. Whoop. Okay, careful. Turn, turn, turn. Okay. Alright, so this has become our bottom. And that's what we have to bear in mind. Let's go ahead and put this cross in. So the question is, how am I going to get this down to here? Well, what I'm ultimately going to want to do, and this is going to be my plan of attack, this is actually going to be my strategy, is I'm going to be doing a series of R moves and U moves for the purposes of eventually coordinating this to here while this is up here in this position. But the problem is that that's going to be difficult to do it in this position here. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is, with this orientation, I'm going to want to flip this upside down. Because if I do it that way, then I can kind of coordinate it a little bit better. Imagine the red one down, the white one up. The color where you have the bandaged part, it's going to want to be facing up. So to turn that upside down, as you recall, the algorithm for that will just move it to a side that's non-bandaged. And that's going to be our F, R, I, F, I, R. And then just R, and then just do it again. F, R, I, F, I, R. Okay, so that made it upside down. So why did I do that? Well, it's just going to be easier for me to be able to coordinate this down. Now, I can't move it down by that Rubik's Cube algorithm because of that. So here's what I'm going to do. The basic strategy is I'm going to be doing an R move to move this down. Okay, so notice this moves down. This frees this up to move around with U moves. Then I'm just going to keep doing movements to coordinate it until they're lined up with each other and I can move it back down. So move it up, this is out of the way. So that's an R move. Then I'm just going to go U, do 2U actually, and then move this up, U. So that now this is over here. What I'm going to then do is do another U move to bring this to the back here so that the R move will take this out of the way. So do an R, this is now taken out of the way. I'm now going to use this and try to coordinate it with this guy here. So I'm going to do 2U and then move it up. Now here you can see the reds are coordinated and the whites are coordinated. Then I've got a green that can move down here. So this is actually in the position that I want it to be. So I'm just going to move it down here. Then it's just a matter of doing a simple R move, U move, and down. I'm really not of the philosophy to entrench that with an algorithm. If you're insistent upon it, let me know. Otherwise, if you watch this closely enough, you can derive an algorithm or extract an algorithm out of that. But it's more fun just to do positioning. So instead of an algorithm, I just gave you the strategy. Turn it so that the color of the bandage side is upside down. So in other words, it's up, so you can bring it to here. And then you're just doing coordinations by doing R moves and U moves. Let's do another example with this one. Now in this case, it's going to be an L move and U move. But let's find the white and the dark green, which is right over here. Okay, so first thing I want to do is let's bring this close to where it's supposed to be over here. Now remember, I want to make it to where the white one is up. So if I turn this up here, this is actually not coordinated where I want it to be. What I want to do without messing this side is I want to bat this up. As long as I'm not near any bandaged sides, I can do straight Rubik's Cube strategy, or straight Megaminx strategy, I should say, in order to move this out of here. So I'm just going to go turn, 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 turn. Okay, my whole purpose of that was to bump this out, in this case to over here. So now I can turn this like so. And upon doing that, I can, actually I'll move it all the way here, turn it over here. So now we're in line with where we want to be, but this isn't where I want it to be coordinated in order to do my strategy. Because to do this means I'd have to turn it in from this angle and you can see what's going to happen. Instead, I want it to be over here, so the purple one's got to be facing down. That way I can eventually do the strategy of moving it down like that. So hopefully I explained that a little better this time. So let's turn this upside down. Move this to an innocuous place that we haven't worked with yet. Make sure we're far away from this guy because it's bandaged. And we'll just do our algorithm, quote the Venus strategy, to turn this upside down from this perspective. So that's going to be the F, because this is on the right side. So F, R, I, F, I, R, F, R, I, F, I, R. And that put it over here, move it back here, here, so now it's upside down. Too fast for you? Slow it down and watch it again. But anyway, my goal was to put this in a position where eventually I'm going to be moving it down from this side, as was the goal on that side over here. So I'm going to be doing a bunch of maneuvers of L and UI. So too, let's do our first motion to bring this out of the picture. Bang. There it is. All right. Now we're going to move this out so that we can try to coordinate things appropriately. So I'm going to move this twice for the purposes of moving this back. So now both of these are up. Now I'm going to turn this over here, and that's for the purpose of moving this down. So move this down. Now that it's moved down, I'm going to move this over here to see if it coordinates well with this edge, this corner. So the edge moves 1, 2, and the corner moves up. You can see the colors coordinated well, so we're where we need to be. So all I got to do now is turn this back here, move this R up once, do my UI, and move it down. So we're able to do that. It flows a lot easier than described. The rest of these are easy because we're surrounded by areas that are non-bandaged. So let's see, red and beige. It's right over here. Let's just move this out. All right, so what I want to do is move this out. So I'm going to go here. And then from here, I'm just going to move this down to here with that same strategy. Down. So F, R, I, F, I, R. Now my purpose was to move this out of that, and that's what I did. So now I've got to get this back where it's supposed to be. Now I got to get this back into here, and I'm just going to focus on doing that the old-fashioned way. Let's move this down, and I'm just going to focus on getting this green one back in without moving it from here. So turn it over here, here, and we got turn, turn, turn. Okay. And we didn't mess up these sides here. They're pretty self-contained. So now I've got this over here, and this needs to find its way down here now that I've blasted out of here. Still kind of in a danger zone here. So I'm actually going to turn this to over here. All right, now that I did that, again, keeping it away from the danger zones, this is going to make a journey down to here. So I'm just going to go turn it here, here. I haven't put any of these guys in, so I really don't care about what's happening there. Here. And here. Okay, so this is now in line and can come down here. So that was all just a matter of positioning and keeping away from the danger areas of this guy. So this is pretty simple, Rubik's Cube techniques. This is in blue, purple, right over here, blue and purple. I just have to manage to get it over here so that I can do the proper turning. Can't move it from here, so I'm just going to go 1, 2, 1, 2. Get used to moving things back. 1, 2. All right, no problems. So this now gets rolled into here. Okay, that's good. So I've got all of these in. So here's my second layer. I just had to do a little bit of intense negotiation around some of that.